This is the Medicine Girl podcast with renowned healing expert and registered nurse Robin Stebbins. Every week, we shine the light on new ways to heal your body from the root, ignite your inner healer, and tap into your divine wisdom. Begin to live harmoniously with your mind, body, and spirit. You are stronger than you think, braver than you realize. Now is the time to wake up and start living healthier, wealthier, and laugh out loud happier. And here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Medicine Girl podcast. It's me, your host, Robin Stebbins. And today I'm thrilled to have Christine Fitzgerald with me. And we're going to maybe center it around wine. Maybe. Not. But can you introduce yourself? I met with your amazing husband and we had just a fun jam special. I still go back to that podcast because he's just like one thing after another. I'm like trying to write it down during the interview. And then I've had, friends listen to the podcast. From the other half of that equation, I would love to get to know you better. And what are you doing with wine?
I love it. Absolutely. Thank you for saying such wonderful things about him. I think he's great too. And what's wonderful, just to capitalize on that, is it's so wonderful when you have these brains come together. I've been a nutritionist for over 20 years. I learned from a doctor. I'm super clinical, geeky, lab testy, you name it and research it. So when our brains come together and he's got, did you read this? You listen to this? We're like, but it's so fascinating because there's so many aspects to wine. There's so many aspects to health. There's so much aspect to our environment, to living, to being just on this planet, right? At this time, there's so many facets. So yes, we can boil it down to wine, which is this whole, yummy thing. But I didn't realize it was just full of yucky stuff. But then I thought, well, I came from, learning about the food industry, reading labels and all that. People don't know what's in their food. Why am I not surprised? So I had this journey of working with clients, mostly women, and them saying, look, I love the diet. I love the cleanse you're putting me on. But the reality is I want to drink. I have a husband at home, I have a partner at home, I have a life. I want to go out with my girlfriends. How does this fit in? It's not realistic for me to just do this. And if I do, it's going to be short-term till I reach my goal. And then it's not realistic for the rest of my life. So what I was finding is this yo-yo cycling back and forth of frustration and guilt and just irritability. And women just couldn't seem to get off that roller coaster. So long story short, I said, well, okay, drink wine. I'll create a day after remedy for you. At least I'll mitigate some of the side effects. But I knew that was only part of it. You can't just put vitamin C in a Twinkie and call it good.
I like that. That's a good way to think about it. Or sugarcoat your poison.
Right. Exactly. So what ended up happening was I'm not a wine drinker. I'll be very honest. It's interesting to be doing this whole thing. My grandfather worked for Gallo until he died, this, big, wine company, but it never was something that called me. I was a competitive gymnast training for the Olympics most of my life. Alcohol was not part of the equation. But I had a cranial sacral session and I got this download and it's crazy. And I just said, okay, I'll create this healthy wine. I'll infuse my wonderful day after remedy into it and I'll make it happen. Somehow it's supposed to happen. So we spent a lot of money. I'm talking about $500,000 going up the California coast, trying to find healthy wine that didn't have any chemicals. And I was so upset that organic was filled with glyphosate. Organic wine, filled. Above levels that I would ever even imagine. So I woke up to a lot of what's happening just in our world, in our crops, in our soil, even more so being in it. But what's being able to be put into the wine bottle is just mind-blowing. So,
let's talk a little bit more about that because what I was mentioning before was that we live so close to Napa, and it's such an elegant looking place. All these fields of vineyards, and what's the truth behind all of that? Like, let's say I go and get my $40 bottle of red wine that's so healthy with my wonderful little antioxidants, and what's actually in that bottle?
Oh gosh, I have a title, What's Lurking in Your Wine? Because people really don't know. It's really what's lurking in there. We think it's just grapes, and it's not. So the FDA allows up to, it says allowed, 72 chemicals per bottle. 72 plus 130 grams of sugar. 130 grams of sugar, which is over a half a cup of sugar that people are drinking every day. I mean, think about it. You may be homeschooling kids, or you're just home, right? You want a glass in the afternoon, and then maybe you have a glass while you're making dinner, and then you have a glass, while you're eating dinner. You're downing a bottle, half a bottle every day, possibly, because there's only 4 glasses in a bottle. We don't realize how much we're consuming because it's so yummy.
Wow.
But when people go wine tasting in Napa, they wonder why they have rashes, bloating, water retention. I have clients that have to wear flip-flops because their feet swell within the first wine tasting. They wouldn't be able to survive a day in Napa without flip-flops, because it's just, they can't handle it. Stuffy nose, headaches, and they know that they're going to be down for the count the next day. Like they're done recovering. Diet's out the window, workouts out the window, and all I want to do is go out with my girlfriends. All I want to do is go enjoy this with my partner, and look what I'm paying for. It's ridiculous. And if you think of Napa, everything's on these beautiful hills, like you're saying. So everybody's kissing everybody with everything they're spraying. Everybody's getting everything. So it doesn't matter if it's organic or not. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's what I really want to talk about too, because there's this disconnect. We listen to the gods above us, the newscasters or the doctors or whoever, and we listen to them say, hey, wine is healthy, but yet my body is reacting in real time. So, and I was, this was quite a while ago, I would drink a glass of red wine for the health benefits. And then I'd spend all night itching my skin, and I'm allergic to sulfa, the antibiotic, but that didn't, somehow there was this chasm where I didn't cue into what my body was telling me. We've lost that sovereignty, that intuition, and trusting that. It's like, well, I'm reading this, so I'm going to force myself to keep drinking this health benefit. When we really tap into that intuition, we could say, like, even this organic wine is not healthy, like something's off. And I know growing up in Nevada, northern Nevada, and, ranch lands and farmlands, they just say, if it's organic label, you're just buying it. My fellow farmers. So if we can get rid of a lot of the noise of the external, and we just tap in, like, okay, I'm having a glass of red wine in Napa and I feel horrible, or I've got to wear flip-flops.
Right.
There's a disconnect there. So how in the world did you find something that is healthy?
Well, first of all, we have to go from surviving to thriving. We're just going to survive what we have because we deserve it. We want it. So we'll go through the pain of it. But it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
Right? And that's just in life in general.
Right.
We really want to thrive. We don't have to be in survival victim mode or whatever. We can be in a thrive mode. We can do what's good for our body. We are so smart and intelligent. But the thing is that the Romans 5,000 years ago used to put herbs like turmeric and lemon in their wine. It was a health drink, just like I put turmeric and lemon in my wine. It's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to be nutritious. It's supposed to feed your body. I mean, there's grapes or vineyards in the Bible, all the way back to the very beginning, Adam and Eve. It's just pretty amazing that it's ancient nutrition, but we've turned it into the beverage industry. We really have.
Yeah.
So this vineyard, we spent so much time lab testing all these different places. Amazingly, a lot of places didn't want to test the glyphosate or tell me how much was in it. That was the biggest thing. They're really trying to hide how much glyphosate, the cancer-causing ingredient in Roundup, as you know, that's in all this wine that they're spraying everywhere. And so doing this lab testing was a big eye opener for me, but also asking the vineyards, hey, we want transparency. We want integrity. We want to know what we're putting in our body. Like, you're just trying to blow the lid off the wine industry and you're trying to expose us and this whole thing. And so it's getting a lot of backlash, right? Because they're protecting, and I understand.
Shocking.
But it's huge. I mean, that's so terrible. So we found a vineyard that's tucked away. I don't even want to say the name of it, but I will, because it's so beautiful. It's called Buttonwood. It's so cute. It's been there about 30 plus years. They have a peach farm. They have animals there, and they have a beautiful lake, and they're tucked away behind these mountains in Santa Barbara County. And they literally get no overspray from anybody. They don't get any water runoff, nothing. They do everything by hand. They've never used one chemical, and they come up literally zero in glyphosate, zero. It does not even detect it in their wine. So that's why my wine is certified glyphosate free, because it's not in there.
Wow.
And so it's so fortunate to find this little cute vineyard that is just phenomenal. And I can support them and say, hey, I love what you're doing. Like, they didn't even realize how awesome they were.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's the I think we've gotten so far away from that right now, is that common sense. I just tell people that I just have one rule: you don't mess with Mother Nature.
Yes.
And when you look at this, like, we have to go out of our way to find something that's not poison, and what I do with Purify Within as a nurse, I can't work in a sick-based industry that creates customers. That's all it does. I've seen it for 30 years, the 30 years I've worked in the field.
Wow.
And so that it's the same thing. We've gotten this disconnect of, we are poisoning ourselves over and over and over. And then this glyphosate is water soluble. It goes, like you said, it's got to be tucked away in these little prisms, of protection to actually be able to drink something that's now free of herbicides, rodenticides, pesticides, glyphosates. Like, the list goes on. And now that the Roundup is getting so much attention, and there's some, lawsuits, then they're now using something that's safer, which is Agent Orange.
I saw
It's like the mirror image of Agent Orange.
I followed that.
It's fine.
Right. It is. It's like, well, we'll use this instead of that. It's not as bad, but us smart ones know it's the same. It's the same game. But the thing is that we're also led to believe, again, that wine is healthy. Well, again, it used to be, but the new, not really new narrative, but what we think of as red wine is healthy because of the resveratrol content, right? We'll drink more red wine. We'll have a glass a night for our heart. It's kind of been the running narrative. And the thing is, though, you're drinking a lot of sugar and a lot of chemicals along with that. And you have to drink 1,000 gallons of wine, 1,000 gallons in one sitting to get any benefit from the resveratrol. But we add muscadine grape skin into our wine, which bumps it up by 30%. So you're actually getting a therapeutic dose of resveratrol in every glass that you drink, 30% bump. That's actually doing something for your health in every single varietal, instead of having to just hope after bottles and bottles of wine that you're getting some health benefit and down a bunch of sugar and chemicals at the same time. I mean, I even tell people about Velcorin, which is a chemical that they use that it destroys all the bacteria, which we need good bacteria and bad, but destroys everything like an antibiotic in the wine. And they use it in sports drinks. Gatorade uses it, all that. But you wear a hazmat suit and you can't touch it for 24 hours. But they say it goes away when you filter the wine. I'm thinking, but you're putting all this in there, you're letting it sit in there, and then you're saying it's okay for me, but you have to wear a hazmat suit because the side effect is death if you ingest this stuff. And it's in my wine that I'm drinking. So I just don't believe in needing to wear a hazmat suit. I mean, literally full hazmat suit in order to make wine. It doesn't logically make sense to me. It really doesn't, the more you dig.
The more you dig with any of this.
Any of it.
Get rid of the poisons, the human body will heal itself like that. Right. Then, so then like you and I are probably at this stage where it's like, okay, we're not sick. We're not diseased. Right. I'm as free range wild human as I possibly can be in living in this world. Right. There's always levels, but I want a deeper level. I want everything that goes into my energetic field to be nourishing and healthful to my body. To ask that question, like, well, what's my potential if I'm really tapped into absolute health and wellness?
Great question. Great question. And it's so funny that you bring that up, because we actually energetically treat our vineyards. So what they do, so for example, if a vineyard or vine, whatever, is sick, they'll just keep putting chemicals on it, right? It's dying or whatever. But we actually have a chi master that goes out and tests the energetic vibrancy or vitality of the vines. And they can tell if it's lacking some kind of mineral. So we'll give the vine magnesium or whatever it actually needs to become the optimal health vine it's supposed to be, to produce that most healthy wine, healthy grape possible. Because sick vines will make a sick person, right? Sick vines make sick wine. Healthy vines, healthy grapes make a healthy person. It's very simple. They're talking apples versus Twinkies here. You logically know that an apple is better for you. It gives you life. Twinkie takes it. Right. Twinkie is horrible, like drinking a glass of wine. Oh, I can go for a walk today. Wow.
Right.
Maybe I'll meditate. Right. I mean, you have a totally different way of being with eating an apple versus something that's literally dead, nutrient-less. So we're not thinking of wine like that. We think of wine as this wonderful alive product. Well, it is alive. It's an alive, living thing. And then we kill it. And then we say, drink it. It's now dead. Now it's fit for your consumption.
Wow. That's mind-blowing. And I love the analogy, though, of you can't have healthy grapes. You can't have healthy wine from those grapes unless the vine, this source that's coming from Mother Nature, is healthy and it has everything that it needs to flourish. Same with us.
Right.
We can't keep poisoning ourselves and not expect to get disease and illness. And then we're fed this lie that it's this, it just happens. It's just random. People just get sick and cancers, and we absolutely don't. And that's, I think, the biggest message too. Like, number one, let's have fun. If you want to have a glass of wine, have this kind of glass of wine. Now, I don't think that creates the addiction when it actually nourishes your body, because you're not feeding this hungry ghost of addiction. You're just, it's enjoyable. It's fun. I'm having a glass of wine with dinner with my family. It's a celebration type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beautiful analogy for if we do that within ourselves.
Oh, I love that. And there's no guilt. I think women in general, we carry around so much guilt. We try to do it all. Like, we just want one glass of wine. Basically, I need time to myself to get back to myself. And this is what I do it with, and to think that that's something that's actually harming them is crazy. But then the next day, I'm like, why did I do that? I have to go on, the gym for an extra hour. I can't eat this and that and this. And you just spend your whole life, it feels like, in regret, especially if you're drinking wine every single day. So you are needing to bring a lot more joy into your life. And you can do that without the guilt and the shame and feeling bad about yourself. And the scale went up to, 2 pounds because I retained water from the glass I had last night. But don't I deserve that? There's this whole psychosis that happens with how busy we are, stressed out in our lives, kids taking care of whatever, to being able to deserve whatever it is, and then having to pay for it. So that's right. Not to pay for this. I deserve that. I deserve to just, take care of myself for those few moments every day to recover, replenish. And it's shocking to a lot of people. And that's why, they buy cheaper wine, and that's fine. But also expensive wine can be crap too. Like, it should be crap. Exactly the same. It's very good marketing that, or it's this family farm that's been around for 100 years. Why do you feel this way? It doesn't matter how much you spend, $10 or 100. It should be how you feel. Do you feel more vibrant and vital and happy, and a nice person to be around and love yourself? Therefore, you're going to love others. Or do you feel like you hate the world because you're so upset that that's all you wanted, yet now you feel horrible, you look horrible, and you just, everything turns to crap.
It's a vicious cycle, like you talk about. And a lot of us, especially women, I think we're marketed very heavily, like have your glass of wine. It's another conversation right there, just the whole paradigms. But that, like in your opinion, when we're talking about being able to just relax and enjoy your life, how does that fit in to the women that you've worked with, or men, to just saying, okay, here's in balance, being able to have a glass of wine? What does that look like in your opinion?
It doesn't look like the fight anymore, which again, that's what I was seeing as a nutritionist. It was this fight, do I be joyful and happy and live my life, go out, or just be able to relax without the guilt? Or do I go on this horrible diet that I don't want to go on? Whether it's to lose weight or not, we all have New Year's resolutions. We all have hopefully the desire to be healthy and well and, have these goals, but it's always comes at a sacrifice. And a lot of things do, but this is something that's been in our environment for so long and such a healthy, nutritious thing that's just turned into the beverage industry. It's like you're drinking a soda or two every single night.
Oh,
it's grapes. Wait, it's fruit. Wait, I was told this was healthy. And so you're almost angry. You don't realize how angry you are that you can't have this. So it is a cycle, but really there has to be balance. And that's kind of a crazy word and that's hard to find, but there has to be balance in the psyche of, if you're going to be well, I think that should be a joyous journey. It should be fun. It should be exciting to be well and healthy and be able to accomplish your goals and take on whatever you need to, take care of your family and be happy about it, but it shouldn't be one or the other. It shouldn't be, okay, I can fit in this size 2 jeans and then, but I can't have wine in order, I have to do one or the other. No, you can do both. It's being smart. It's choosing wisely. It's looking at what you're consuming overall in your life, because it's the compound effect, right? Like, what else are you eating all day long? Right. People don't realize it is literally the compound effect. If you're eating glyphosate all day long, from breakfast, from your coffee, all the way to your wine, everything you have, that means your gut's done.
I think, and it's important to point out glyphosate and Roundup was originally patented as a broad spectrum antibiotic.
Yes,
like
you're right.
So it's napalm to the whole gut biome, and we've realized that even Socrates said all root of disease begins in the gut.
Yes,
like if you're poisoning yourself over and over and over, and don't take in the shame and the guilt about it, because it's everywhere. Right. I mean, like you said, it's work to find the organic, those pure little pockets that we have left. But if we just stand in that truth, and that's where we put our money, and maybe we drink a little bit less wine because it's more expensive, but that's worth it. I mean, you're healthy.
Value. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, you're like, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything.
You don't. And you're right. What you said earlier is that you're going to feel better and drink less. Yes, the one I make is very easy as far as it's drinkable. It's very light, goes down easy. You'll say, the bottle went by so fast, went down so easy. But the thing is that you feel awesome the next day. There's no headache. There's no hangover. We guarantee that. No headache, no hangover, even after a bottle. But the thing is, that means that you can eat a couple apples and feel great. Give a couple Twinkies, you're down for the day. You're like,
right.
Because it's true. Or I decide to have donuts for breakfast. And like, why by noon? It's like, why did I have that donut for breakfast? It only takes a couple hours. Your body says, I didn't like that. So there's all these signs. But yes, slowly but surely, we're breaking down our gut. And that's what helps us absorb our nutrients and to be able to be a healthy environment, have an immune system. Especially now, we need immunity. And we're forgetting that it starts in the gut. You're unhappy, fix your gut. Get your neurochemicals working, fix your gut. If you're bloated, if you're overweight, fix your gut. If you're unhappy in any regard, fix your gut. I mean, it just all goes back to that, but it's like death by 1,000 little cuts, right? Because you're doing all this crap all day long. And then we say, well, it's my friend's birthday this weekend, so I'm going to splurge. But you've been splurging all week. You just didn't realize it. So I'm just trying to stop that pain as far as, you start with your coffee in the morning, that's chemical filled, whatever, all the way through the day. There's got to be a point where the body's able to start repairing and responding and recovering. And you can't do that until you remove the problem.
That's it.
You have to
Always.
lessen it somewhere.
Yeah, it's getting to the root. Like, what is the root? If it's the poison from, be that, I call it like a medical detective for yourself. Yeah. Really just start to like be a super sleuth, and I like to detox, at least once a month. Big detox every quarter. What's your opinion on detoxing and what is that? Because it means so many different things to different people. But to get like, let's say somebody is watching right now and they're having their super fancy Napa wines. I have a lot of patients and clients that love their Napa wines and they're expensive, but they're in that cycle. And then they'll wake up a little hungover, have a couple Tylenols and a donut. On with a pesticide ridden coffee, and then lunch is they skip it, and then now it's dinner and I got to have my glass of wine, and back we're in that cycle.
Yes.
Take me through what you would kind of like a process to sort of help people. Like, I think you first have to separate yourself from that cycle so that you can get a little bit of awareness.
I was just going to say that you have to see, it's like being in a bad relationship. We only argue 3 times a day,
Right.
It could be worse. It could be, whatever it is.
Or we'll compare ourselves to the fray. Well, at least I'm not, 700 pounds and living in my, can't get out of bed.
At least I only have 10 pounds to lose, or, go on vacation. Maybe you're separate from your partner, your husband, whatever. And you think, well, I'm actually relaxed. It's been a week. We haven't argued and, we have a separation. You have to have some kind of awareness. I think that comes with a very solid private practice with yourself of meditation, of separating yourself to where you can kind of check in. Like every night for me, I do a really light meditation. I do my gratitude journal, but it's a way for me to check in with myself. How am I doing? How was my day? What am I reflecting on? What's tomorrow going to look like? What am I grateful for? But we go. And so we don't even step outside of our, habit of a life to say, okay, let's check in. Okay. So I had, crap wine for dinner. I had donuts for breakfast. I feel like crap. I don't want to feel like this. So what am I going to do differently tomorrow? And then add gratitude on top of that. I'm grateful I can have a dinner. I'm grateful I can afford a donut. Whatever, the most basic thing. I'm glad I have $1 in my pocket. The most basic things. But people have to step back for just a second. And it sounds so easy and so small, but that 5-10 minutes I take for myself at night is so vital. Or my daughter goes down for a nap. It's just, okay, I'm going to lay on the PMF mat. I'm going to get, my energy balanced. I'm going to get into a state that I am proud of, where I love myself and therefore can exude that to her. And, it's just the energy that you put off. So I think that's really where it starts, because people aren't going to get out of a cycle unless they feel like it's a problem or that it's painful enough. And I think that's just human nature. People, if you like where you're at, great. I'm not going to help you until you ask.
Thank you for saying that too, because I think
you have to want it. Even if it's small, because you're not going to do anything I say. You'll spend money with me, whether it's wine or consulting, doesn't matter. And we're both going to be upset.
All right.
Not let down, but like disappointed and like, and
it's a waste of our valuable energy. And I declared to the universe out loud, I said, I am done taking care of sick people that want to stay sick. They've made love to their disease, their labels, their diagnosis. That's fine.
Yeah.
I have to, like somebody said, you just got to leave that one to Jesus or God, or like, there's nothing I can do. I plant seeds. I think we're here, those of us that are awake, and I am done, pussyfooting around. Like it's go time, and it's time to speak our truth. And we're planting seeds We're planting light seeds as these light workers. How those seeds germinate in that other person is none of my business. I'm just there to speak as kindly and as lovingly and as truthfully as possible to those that have the ability to hear.
Yes.
So what you're doing with this wine, is revolutionary, because it not just is like, okay, well, my glass of wine now is healthier. Great. It plants that seed of, well, where else am I toxifying my life? Where else was I starting to feel these like big side effects? Like my feet were swollen so to the point I couldn't only wear flip-flops.
Right. It's breaking the pattern. Yeah. I was just saying that what you said was beautifully spoken, because we're basically trying to break a pattern and bring awareness. And you only do that by introducing something good. So for example, if someone is drinking wine every single night, they know how they feel the next day. Oh boy, they know they've been doing this rodeo for years, so they know how they feel immediately with their first glass, and they grin and bear it, and they just do it because they want it, and that's it. But so you say, okay, well, you can still have your wine, so don't be upset. You can still have your wine. Introduce this wine. Oh, let's just see how you feel. Do you like that you feel better? Oh, great. So you didn't have the bloating, you didn't gain the weight, you didn't have the headache. You were a happier, nicer person the next day. Fabulous. Do you want to continue that? Great. What else are you eating? What else are you consuming? But you have to start with something people love. And that is a habit. Like, for example, their coffee. I won't take away people's coffee, but I will introduce a healthier form. And I may say, oh, add some collagen, add something to it, whatever. But I don't want to work in a world where we're just removing things, because that's painful for people. There's a lot of emotional attachment to wine, to coffee, to chocolate, these things that we do, right? We forget that. There's
Yes.
So we want to be really sensitive to that for people. We're all human. We go for things for certain reasons. So I'm all for the approach of not like just ripping the carpet from underneath somebody. Great. You love coffee? Keep drinking it. Let's try this and see how you feel. You love donuts. Great. Well, here's a recipe on how to make your own donut without the sugar and this and that, but you can still have your donut.
Yes.
So it makes people happier, and they're not as resistant. And it's not this struggle to get healthy. Like, oh, here we go again. I knew if I came to you, I'd have to ruin my life for the next month if I lose these darn 5 pounds. And it should be that way. This is a lifelong journey. It's not for the next month so you can fit in the dress for the wedding. This is your health. This is your body. This is your vitality. This is who you are on this planet. You need to be able to be the best vessel possible to complete what you're here to complete, to fulfill your blueprint. If
Boom.
you can't, right?
That's all quotable. I want to just rewind that and just play it every morning, because that is what I truly believe. Like, this divine vessel that I'm gifted, I have barely scratched the surface of what I'm capable of, what is possible when I just start to tap into the directness of everything. There's no separation. So when I eat something that I know is going to make me feel a certain way, I tap into, do I really want to feel like crap for the next hour if I have this type of breakfast versus if I just have my, I call it my black green smoothie. I mean, it's not delicious, but I also like what recently came up to me was, a lot of plant medicines and healthy tinctures and tonics. They're very bitter. They don't taste good. But then I thought, but we've also been acclimated to an intense amount of sugar.
Yes.
That's not happening in our ancestral times. We're not just, constant drip of this horrifying different types of sugars. Mm-hmm. So I think when we get more back to, and maybe we go back to a little bit to like detoxing, because it's almost like I'm resetting my taste buds. I'm resetting what my body's asking for. Because when I tap in with clients and patients, they can't even feel their big toe.
Wow.
they're not in their bodies.
Right.
There's
right.
such a, whirlwind of just feeding these external desires, feeding a feeling, fixing a feeling, creating a feeling, whatever it is. We've become this nation of hungry ghosts. And I think that's why we're so able to accept the dizzying amount of poisons that we are now ingesting on the daily. And we have to spend, a lot more to actually get something that's grown as it should be. So
Right.
what would you say to somebody that wants to detox, say like a cleanse, a detox, a purification? I like the more positive words. Detox is kind of heavy and negative. And
it is. I love purification. That's such a great word. I love that. It's a lot more positive, more vibrant. It's something that you actually feel like, oh, that sounds neat.
I could do that. That sounds good.
Detox sounds yucky and horrible and hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Detox.
I know, detox. And I love that's what you're asking about. But when I was doing my practice full time, I was putting people through detoxes. I had this whole detox system, the whole thing. But as I got older, over the 20 years of doing the practice, as you have, right, you've learned with your patients and you learn in the field, right? What works, what doesn't, how they respond and all that stuff. And what I was saying before is that if you put in clean wine, you're already detoxing. It doesn't have to be painful. It could be,
wow.
Okay, you drink crap coffee, put in some clean coffee, because guess what? You just removed the 100 chemicals in that cup of coffee that your body now doesn't have to create fat cells with and, struggle with and try to protect yourself with, and it won't create inflammation and all these alarm bells going off in your system. And, people don't realize that the more toxic they are, the more fat cells they create.
Right.
Constantly creating fat cells from these toxins. So imagine drinking clean wine. I mean, I want to do a challenge. I drink Smartvine for 30 days and I guarantee you're going to lose weight. You're going to be happier. You're going to be healthier. You're going to have less bloat. You're not going to have any of the rashes because your body has nothing to respond to. You're literally giving your body a natural detox with something you love already.
Okay. That's exciting. That's exciting because when especially when we're using these different vibrations, when I say detox or get rid of the poisons, like I'm sending an energetic vibration to my cell membranes, to my intercellular matrix. This is just the stuff that we know about. I'm sure there's an infinite number of workings behind the scenes, even with that. So when we're saying like, I'm doing a purification and you see me having a glass of wine, we're like, that's not possible. Oh, I guess we're not doing the purification anymore, but it should be happy. It should feel good, not to this hungry ghost. I keep going back to that, but to the soul. Like it's satisfying to my soul. And I know that it's good for my body and it's in alignment. If we just did that with everything, can you imagine what we could create?
This purification, I love everything you said. And with the wine, it's literally going back to, like, you can purify by going back to the roots. You can purify. It's like you go back, if you drink coffee, you go to the root of how that coffee was made, and you get the most nutrient dense, rich soil environment you can that made that coffee bean. And then that gives you life and purifies you. That's the same thing with the wine. Get the crap from it and just go back to how the vine was growing, where it was growing, what it was given. And that's what is going into you. That's what's going into you. You are purifying as you're drinking this. But if you're drinking the soda, you're obviously not purifying. But also that's why we added the lemon peel, the muscadine grape skin, the chicory root, all these different things, because they are cleansing and they're protecting at the same time. It is so important that you're giving your body back something. Whenever you're eating, you're literally replenishing and rebuilding and restoring. You're not taking away. 1000% of the time, we are eating foods and drinking liquids that are taking away from or robbing our body of all these essential nutrients. It needs to purify. It needs to release all these things to make us whole and happy. So why not drink something that actually gives you your life back?
Beautifully said. I there's so much in that I just want to just write down for myself.
I love it. Yeah. I love
Because I think it's so important to understand that when we ingest these poisons, the body goes to fighting that. The body is miraculous.
Yeah,
like incredible. Right? And this inflammation, it's this beautifully designed system to keep us safe.
Right.
But when it's doing that, when it's just dealing with like this battery of toxins, it can't do the other things. It can't clear away the cells that could lead, that could be leading to disease states, or really let the mind tap into being able to think and reason, or the pineal gland and tapping into that spiritual connection that we have to all source. Mm-hmm. So I love this idea. The purification programs are just eating pure. Yeah. And the other thing I really want to stress that you said, I think is so important is when we are tapped into what our body is needing to eat, to drink, it's a harmonious balance. Mm-hmm. You don't sit there and drink 3 bottles of wine, right? Because you're not creating this addictive cycle. You're nourishing your body. You're giving your body what it truly needs to live in optimal health and wellness and all these beautiful things that we're capable of. And so then, we can see things like lemon peel. Like I have this lemon tree in my backyard, and every now and then I will just cut, these big ones, and I'll just cut the peel and the white part, the little pith, and I'll just eat it.
So good. I love doing that. I eat it like an apple.
Yes.
Crazy, but I do. I love it. It's just, there's so many vitamins in the peel, and then that white part.
Yes. And
my daughter Ava, she does the same thing. He just can't believe it. She just eats lemons. She's 2.5. Like, yeah, it's good for,
But that's the body in alignment. Mm-hmm. That's the body in alignment with Mother Nature. That's the body in alignment with what we're capable of, tapping into what our bodies need. Like I just saw this black powder at a health food store. I didn't know what it was. I didn't do any research on it. I just knew I had to have that. And it turns out it was, this resin from the Himalayas, and it's got lots of iron. It detoxifies heavy metals, but I knew my body needed it. And I couldn't get enough of it until it was boom. Now my body was like, nope, we're done. You don't need any more. Wow. That's the magnificence of what we're capable of. So whether it's having that delicious glass of wine that actually purifies the body, or, fasting for 6 days, whatever that is, you're in alignment with that.
And I love all those different things. I absolutely love intermittent fasting. I mean, we can go as deep as intermittent fasting to just jumping in the sauna. Obviously we have the health center, the infrared sauna, to, looking at all of your ingredients that you have in your healthcare products and removing all the xenoestrogens. There are toxins on so many different levels. So when I work with people in purifying, I still love that word, detoxifying. It's a multi-level approach, right? But the first thing is, well, let's keep you comfortable. Let's keep you drinking wine. Let's keep you happy.
Yes.
Happy, because it keeps you happy, while you're, navigating, looking at your cupboards and looking in your medicine cabinet and, what's in your deodorant, all these things that we've thought of. But, people don't even look at their bread anymore. It's like triple seeded bread. Well, it's all grown with glyphosate and, bells and whistles on the front, and just eating all this toxic stuff in it. Just, you think it's super healthy, but
that's right.
Everything down, right? Bringing everything down.
Well, and what I really liked what you said is there's no deprivation. We're not going to create a vacuum in your life, because that's just going to make things worse eventually. But to be able to say, okay, you like your coffee, here's a way to have like a really rich antioxidant, healthful tonic in the morning. And if you want your glass of wine, here's a way to really tap into the health benefits and nourish the body. Same with all of these other things. If we can just connect maybe more energetically with all of this, then we're creating this kind of happy bubble of like, oh, this is easy. And don't underestimate the power of that. Like if people will come up to you, I'm sure, like, oh my gosh, Christine, your skin is glowing. What do you do? You know, and just to point out too, like if whatever you're putting on your skin, if you're not willing to eat it, then you shouldn't be putting it on your skin.
Right.
From the get-go.
About these things. So absolutely. And so you're right in alignment with me. And I just feel like it shouldn't be painful. And there's so much to be aware of. And it is a journey. It really is. And there's so many different facets of where we're getting all these toxins or where we're just missing the mark, or, you know, we eat the same thing for lunch every day. That's causing the most problem. Or we for sure have 3 glasses of wine at night. So we start with that. We lighten the toxic load there, right? And then it changes the whole next day. And then you really want to do something different because you actually feel better. You have the energy for it. You know?
That's what's so exciting to me. When you have the energy for things, you are here to fulfill your destiny. Yes. You're not just surviving in this sick-based medical mode that most people are underneath. And and like you said, it's not like you got to go to, you know, some spa somewhere and detox and do all these horrible things. It can be pleasant and it can start today. And, you know, there's always a healthy substitute. And if we also start to tap into these paradigms, like I was just thinking about salad dressing.
Oh God.
That's like, why do we put oil and milk products on this beautiful lettuce? Why are we wrapping our produce in plastic? What? That's all nonsense. Like, start to tap into, what do I really want on my greens? For me, I kind of like to wilt them a little bit and put some olive oil and some sea salt.
That's yummy. Yeah.
I don't like dressing.
Yeah.
But that's the like when you start getting rid of the programming and you start eating like a wild human, you start eating lemon peels and you start eating these things that are, you know,
putting them into wine. You're like, oh, there's lemon peel in my wine. That sounds good, actually.
It does. Like when you said that, it's like, ooh, that sounds really good.
That's the one thing, is that you can have these beautiful things and it doesn't have to be yucky. You can still have a beautiful glass of wine with lemon peel in it. And it tastes amazing, but you can't even taste the lemon peel. And I think there's some fear there of trying these things that are new, but you don't have to go all crazy, you know. Yeah. Simplify. Absolutely. I think it is that it's making sure that people can, you know, the only way they're going to want to do something is if they have the energy for it and they're excited about it. But they have to get the energy first, right? They have to, oh, my mind is more clear today. I'm happier today. I'm more energetic today. I got to go work out in whatever it is. And then they're more open, like, okay, how can I do this more? Because it's addicting. It's addicting to feel good.
It is. It is. It's like once we get out of that cycle of just this short-sighted dopamine hit, satisfy whatever this current need is. Once we get out of that cycle, you start to realize how good it feels to be tapped into your essence of a wild human.
Yes.
That fulfills this soul satisfaction. You know, like we're actually satisfying and have the energy now to fulfill our destiny. Create these legacies. And I don't think it's just one, like we're dynamic human beings. What's my destiny now in this moment? I've got the energy to do it.
Yes. I love that. We are here to do many different things, but we can't do it unless we want to. And again, unless we have the energy. So all these little things make such a big difference, but it's just trying it. Sometimes you just take a little leap of faith, as we were talking about, just have a little leap of faith, the size of a mustard seed, right?
Yes.
But again, if it's just changing your wine, great. That's super easy. If it's just changing your coffee, great. Super easy. But it can actually get you to the finish line of a really incredible day and make a difference in someone's life just by changing your coffee. It sounds so weird.
It's so true, though. And it stacks on itself. Right. It's just, you know, it starts to stack. And I know the power of the mind and the power of the ideas that this is healthy. Just even that, even if it wasn't, just the idea can help protect you from any harmful effects of of things. But then when you actually tap into the essence or the energetic signature of these wines, coffees, foods, it's grown right in front of your eyes, that's a difference. And then that starts to fuel itself. And then we can maybe start voting with our feet, all of us, and say, hey, this is what we want. We want everything organic. It shouldn't even be the word organic.
I know. I'm just going to say that. I mean, I can't believe I'm telling people to look for certified glyphosate products or glyphosate products. It's not even organic anymore to me. It's certified glyphosate free. I mean, you have to keep going a step beyond. You have to be on top of the game. You have to be, ahead of it. It's incredible, but you got to start somewhere. But when you start to get cleaner, you start to awaken. Oh, good. Oh, my environment. This doesn't look right. I didn't agree to this. Whatever it is, I didn't agree to this, feeling of how it's going in my marriage, or what's going on in my workplace, or what's going on the TV, or what's going on. So, and you're going to want more for yourself. You're going to want yourself to thrive. You're going to want your children to thrive. You have a whole different outlook on life, and your brain works very different. And you all of a sudden have this awakened. I'm like, life can be different. I don't have to here. I can actually make my own path and do, what's right for me. Be a critical thinker, not only in what's going on with the world, but what's going on internally. And you can really shift the energy of your home, your internal state, and therefore your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that looks like to you, you can be that agent of shift, of change, whatever that is that feeds your soul to do. But it has to start with a little bit of glimpse, or else everyone's just still asleep.
That's the planting of the seeds, because it's like, well, maybe just try some wine that isn't ridden with pesticides, and see, and just see. Yeah. Just give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen?
You're still drinking wine. You're still going to
still drinking wine. Yeah. But I truly just so resonate with what you just said, because I think my dream, and I said this a few years ago, was just to have everyone awakening. I don't think it's like, okay, now I'm awake.
Right.
It's layers and layers and layers. And it's a lot to encompass, especially right now. But just to be able to have a conversation with someone awakening who has a different perspective. I'm not here for cheerleaders, just to say, great job, Robin, you're doing amazing work. No, I want to be challenged. I want my paradigms to be challenged. Like, what deeper levels am I still unaware of? And then we have skin in the game.
Right.
We look around us and we're like, this is not okay. And I'm willing and able to do something about it. I'm willing to be unpopular. I'm willing to be the, face of censorship and hate mail. I'm okay with that, because I believe in what I'm doing, and that satisfies my soul to speak this level of truth. Not to martyr myself, but now is the time.
It is. And I think that more and more people, at least I have faith in him of believing that more and more people are saying, this isn't right. This doesn't feel good to me. Like the more stressed out they're getting, I think there's these breaking points that people have.
Right.
And that's kind of, we talk about human nature. There seems to be these breaking points. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you're stopping smoking or you want to start exercise, whatever it is, there's a breaking point, or you get injured or you get sick, whatever it is, that where you have to rise up. And that's where your fight is, as we know. But people sometimes have to get to that depth if they don't have a, childhood story that they already had to fight through, that they've kind of triumphed and they're personally of it. We get these lessons along the way. And there are these little pockets, I think, of, this doesn't work for me. I'm going to change it, but these little awakenings. And then until finally it's like, okay, everyone stop. This is not cool. This is not the roller coaster I want to be on. And, I don't want, if I hurt my knee again, I'm not going to go back and have surgery right away. I'm going to go to do cryotherapy, or I'm going to eat some turmeric, or I'm going
or DSMO. Like, that's another really,
or put some arnica on it, or I'm going to actually be gentle with myself and do some yoga, whatever it is. It's a whole different mindset. of, we learned, okay, we didn't like that. And, so we have to go through these things, but I believe that the body gives you the same reminder over and over and over and over again. Somebody come in with a gut problem they had when they were 12 and now 50. Yeah. And it just is the same thing. It just looks different, it's been however many years. And so your body will keep talking to you in the same way, keep getting the same annoyance, same kick in the butt.
Yeah.
Until you look at that. And same thing with the life. Everything's poking you. Everything's like, do you believe in this? Is this okay with you?
Yes, that's it. That's it. But just like it took, the 1,000 cuts to get that deep wound, the festering illness, it takes 1,000 lights to start creating that awakening. But like you said, from the beginning, it can be fun and pleasant and enjoyable. You're not going to be this miserable person white knuckling your way through another diet detox. We're done with that. Let's just throw that away and enjoy our lives and enjoy this, whatever's unfolding right now. I'm trying to stay as in faith as I possibly can. Not hope. Hope is for beggars, but faith, faith that we're being guided, faith that I am being led to my right path through myself, through my clarity. And clarity comes from properly nourishing my body with things that are in alignment with my body. And what you keep saying and what I keep saying is trust your intuition. Yeah. It's a process to get to that raw intuition, but continue to tap into it. It's a muscle that all of us need to build, because then there is like you said, you injure your ankle. I'm not going to run to the doctor or my knee and, have them dig out the surgery. The whole model is designed to create customers. That's it. All of them. Every single one of them, every doctor, every nurse, it's customer oriented for life. You are a cash cow to them. How can I bring you into the system? Right. So if we remove ourselves completely from that, we tap into this and these villages now that are cropping up everywhere of those that have an immense body of the knowledge, we can create this change we wish to see. And it starts within us. So Christine, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing this. I have probably 3 more hours of things we could talk about, but I'm going to respect your time. Where can people find you, and where can people find this amazing wine that you are creating?
I love it, Robin. Thank you so much for your heart and your time today. I just have to take a moment. Thank you. I'm so grateful for your service, and you lead with your heart, and your audience knows it. And it's just being a light worker. We're just bonding together and gonna be one big fat light.
Yes.
Be vibrant light, but you know what I mean? We're just going to be beaming as we all collectively come together and just shine it. And it is with these little baby steps, these little pieces that we can just capitalize on, and more and more awareness, more and more faith, it just makes us stronger. So thank you. Thank you so much. So if you go to smartvinewine.com, that's where you'll find my face. That's where you find the wine. And we grow out of Santa Barbara. I think I told you that, of course. And we're doing a sale right now, but I can give a code that no matter when, someone wants to pop on and try, it's buy 3, get 30. They basically get $10 off a bottle. We have a mixed pack, a red, white, and a rosé. Try them. They're amazing. And just enjoy. And please email me, tell me what you think. And I want to hear from you. We're a new company. We've been around almost 3 years and we're growing. So definitely want the feedback. But I'm excited for you to try it. And tell me how you feel. I can't wait for you to
Well, I'll be one of your test subjects for sure. And then I will have the link to the wine and the code in the show notes. So all you have to do is click on it and it'll be taken right there. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing, for doing what you're doing, what your husband is doing. And I just have to say, I got to point this out. What you just said, we're creating this one beaming ball of light. So it's not like I'm this individual light that needs to be special. The whole point is to connect with other lights and create a big beaming light. so that we are one. We're creating this beautiful light that we know is our potential.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And enjoying our glass of wine while we're doing it. That's
Other light is beaming. I'm so with you, Robin. I love it. I'm hugging you.
Yes. Another air hug.
Thank you so much for today. It was awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Christine.